is a local celebrity. So we're hoping that you're going to put your hands together for Courtland Malloy. So I have to tell the genesis of the story with Courtland. I think almost 2 years ago, he wrote an article that said, "Broccoli makes me gag." That was the title. And so I called him up and I said, well, I had this problem with peas. The peas were sort of my thing, and I invited him out to the restaurant. And the first time he stood me up, and the second time he stood me up, and the third time he was so apologetic that we had a very long and wonderful conversation. And he wrote a great article about us. And then he came out and listened to the Kickstart a couple of times, and then he became a full Kickstart participant in the beginning of this year. And we've been doing the whole Dean Ornish thing. We've been working out, we've been going to meditation classes, we've been exercising, running up to, I think, 3 miles now. And Courtland just was in a tennis tournament with his buddies and was slamming the non-vegans into the ground. So it was very cool. So welcome.
Well, that's my story. I have 2 things, and I'm not going to talk. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. Just 2 things, no PowerPoint. The first thing is my crop. I've always wanted to do that. I am not Marie Osmond. I am not Jenny Craig. In January 5th, I could wear these without pulling the string. 21 days of jump start, and that's what's happened. Everything she said. But here's the point. I wrote this broccoli piece, which was more like a prayer for help. My mother had virtually tried to force feed me to eat broccoli. My mother grew up on a farm, and she really knew what she was talking about, but at the time it didn't seem that way to me when I was a kid. So she died a few years back, and it dawned on me that I had become the person that she had tried so hard to keep me from becoming, which was really big because it runs in the family. I walked. I didn't swing my arms when I walked. I walked and I kept my palms back. I was slumped over, and I kind of sloughed along. I was breathing through my mouth, and I didn't realize this until I caught myself in my home security camera, and I said, "Who is that person on our lawn?" And it was me, and I really did not recognize myself. So I wrote the column about the broccoli. Does anybody know how to make broccoli taste good? The story is not so much about broccoli, it was about the response that I got. Unlike most columns that I wrote for the Post, people called in to help with suggestions. Here's what you do. Try it this way. I mean, some of it was like dip it in chocolate or dip it in cheese, but the point was, unlike anything I'd seen before, people wanted to help. And that is when I started taking this a little more seriously, because it's the whole idea of a community of people who care not just for the animals, but who care for each other. People were really rooting. We were rooting for you. I wrote a column once about a raccoon that was getting into my trash can and how I intended to get a BB gun and shoot it. And people weren't calling to help me about that. I got calls saying, "You're a psycho. You're not even a human being." And some of those calls were coming from Herndon and Reston. So coming here was, you didn't know what you were going to get. I didn't. But the point is that people were helping. And I think that is the critical thing. The more I ate plant-based food, the more my temperament began to change. Not just the weight thing, but the whole experience of life. And the more receptive I was to what had always been there, and that was a community of helpful people. You know, being honest, you know, letting people know what was happening. And this is all I'm doing right now. I mean, I'm no expert. My pants tell the story. That's about all I know. I ate this food, that happened, exercise. That Gwen, Pericles over at Green Fair became like a school to me to teach me about these things. Read the books. But it wasn't just the intellectual understanding. There was something that you can't put a finger on. I haven't been able to put a finger on it. You know, watching all the people come here today, you know, and being a part of it, I think it is the critical thing. And at a time when it is kind of hard for community to get together. I mean, the tendency is for us to be more divided than together. But to think that we can come together over a bean or a broccoli, it blows my mind. It really does. And it wasn't that the help wasn't here. It was that I really wasn't open to it, you know. And soon as I started becoming open and receptive and not trying to say, oh, I can do this by myself, blah, 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 things started to happen. I like to see myself now as a recovering animal eater. Yes. Well, at one point, I started making a list of all the animals that I've eaten. And I'm telling you, I've eaten cow, cat, cow, pig, chicken, duck. I'm from Louisiana. I've eaten alligator. I've eaten clam, oyster. I've eaten. The one thing that I wonder about, I've eaten hot dog, and I'm beginning to wonder, is it really dog in that thing? Because I never figured it out. Because they always call things, you know, names that are supposed to make them, you know, kind of throw you off. Hot dog, baby back ribs. What is that? How would you make that? The cow butt, the pig butt. They call it the ham and the round. You know, the cow throat. They call this the brisket part here. They make it up here. The sirloin, the filet mignon. I ate it all. And I don't have any idea now why I would do that. What made me think why would I want to eat an alligator? Or, having seen my aunt when I was little take a chicken by the neck and do that thing. She wanted me to try it, and I couldn't. Off of the chicken ran after me. I don't know, it was the most horrible thing. And I did not eat. I watched them boil the feathers off, watched them go in and take all the stuff out, and when they put it in flour and threw it in the hot skillet, I swear I heard the thing cry out, you know, the sizzling in the thing, and it sounded just like the chicken. And I didn't eat that. And and people mocked me, oh, you don't want to eat the chicken. But I know now that was the right response. But somehow along the lines, I got into Popeyes and all of that stuff, and total disconnect between what was going on. And I'll tell you, the other thing about this, I think there's karma going on here. I think there's karma that of all the places in the world I would come to, you know, bare my soul would be Herndon, where people call me a psycho a few years ago. But I also think when I look at what eating animals is doing to us, I think that I don't think we're going to have the last laugh on this as a species. There's so many of these diabetic clinics going up in the neighborhoods where people are losing limbs. And then I remember how I used to pull that chicken wing off, and we used to take the wishbone, and you know, all I'd wish for was no broccoli. Do not make me eat broccoli. But all the things that I would do to animals, you know, I see it happening to people, chests cracking open, heart attacks and things like that. And I'm saying there is karma here. And the only thing that's really standing between us and extinction, and I think if you look at the whole emerging environmental crisis and the role of for you would say that we are perilous, in perilous condition now. And that's people like yourselves who will welcome others in to turn T. Colin Campbell into a celebrity. I've never seen a doctor or professor be like celebrity guy. It's a beautiful thing to see. And that's it. That's all I wanted to say. That I don't think we can do this by ourselves. I think that it's good to care about the animals. I'm recovering animal, threaten them. I don't do that anymore. But I think that caring about ourselves is really the key, and that my disposition has changed as a result of eating beans, of all things. People in my household like me more, and I think this is where community starts. I have not met, we talk about vegans, well, you call me a psycho one, so, people get hard. But I have not met a nicer, more helpful group. People who are willing, who cheer you on. The rest is pretty easy. All you have to do is eat beans and rice. That's it. Thank you all very much.
Hey everyone, thanks for making it out today. We still have a few more t-shirts left at the aPlantBasedDiet.org booth. I think it's $20, whatever we have left, and it's all we've got. So if you want one, by all means stop by. It's a donation for the festival, and as we talked about before, we're trying to keep this free for everybody. No attendance fee, and this is one way to do it. And we printed some extra t-shirts, so they were just for the volunteers, but they're extra. So please, if you're interested, go ahead over there. We have some boxed water left as well. And I think that's just about it. So thank you so much for making it out. Thank you to everyone who's helped. We've had a huge team, I think about 100 volunteers today. So if everybody can give a round of applause for the volunteers. Let's make this possible. And we hope this is the beginning of a very, very strong plant-based and vegan movement here locally in Northern Virginia. And there's more that's going to happen in the near future. So just look out for it.
like this to like